During the summer of 2003, events in the northeastern United States included a strange human-like creature sparked belief, local media interest before an impact blackout was interacted. Little or no information was left intact, as most online and written accounts of the creature was mysteriously destroyed. Primarily focused in the rural New York State and once found in Idaho, self-proclaimed witnesses told stories of their encounters with a creature of unknown origin. Emotional range from extremely traumatic levels of fright and discomfort to an almost childlike sense of playfulness and curiosity, which their published visions are no longer on record, but memories remain. Several of the included parties began looking for answers that year. In early 2006, the collaboration had accumulated nearly to 2 dozen documents dating between the 12th century and present day, spanning 4 continents. In most all cases, the stories were identical. I've been in contact with a member of this group and was able to get most experts from their upcoming books.
A suicide note, 1964. As I prepare to take my life, I feel necessary to assert any guilt or pain I have introduced through this act. It is not the fault of anyone other than him. For once I awoke and felt his presence, and once I awoke I saw his form. Once again I awoke and heard his voice. I looked through my eyes. I cannot sleep without the fear of what I next wake to experience. I cannot ever wake alone. Found in the same letter box were 2 empty envelopes addressed to William and Rose, and one loose personal letter with no envelope. Dearest Lenny, I prayed for you. He spoke your name.
Journal entry, translated from Spanish, 1880. I have experienced the greatest terror. I have experienced the greatest terror. I have experienced the greatest terror. I see his eyes. When I close mine, they're hollow. They're black. They saw me and pierced me. His wet hand, I will not sleep. His voice.
Reader's log, 1691. He came to me in my sleep. From the foot of my bed, I felt a sensation. He took everything. We must return to England. We shall not return here again, at his request of the Rake.
From a witness, 2006. 3 years ago, I had just returned from a trip from Niagara Falls. With my family on the 4th of July, we were all exhausted after a long day of driving. So my husband put the kids in the bed to bed and called it a night. At 4 a.m. I woke up thinking my husband had gone up to the restroom. I used the moment to usually steal back to the sheets. Only wake up his seat, I apologized to him. I thought he got out of bed when he turned his face and he gasped and put his feet under my bed. So quickly his knees almost knocked me out of the bed. He grabbed me and said something. After adjusting to the dark for half a second, I was just about to strange reaction. At the foot of the bed, sitting and facing away from us, was appeared to be a naked man or a hairless dog or something. Its body position disturbing and unnatural, as if it was hit by a car or something. For some reason, it was not instantly frightening to us, but it concerned us as a condition. At this point, I was somewhat under the assumption we were supposed to help him. My husband was peering over his arm and Neil, tucked into a fetal position, occasionally glancing at me before he turned the creature. In a furry motion, the creature stumbled across the bed and quickly in a flailing set of motion, run out of bed. It was less than a foot from my husband's face. The creature was completely silent about 30 seconds or closer to 5. Seemed like it was a while, just looking at the husband. The creature then placed his hand on my husband's knee and ran into the hallway leading into the kids' room. I screamed and turned the light switch, plainly to stop before I heard my children. When I got to the hallway and not in the bedroom was enough to crouch and hand it over 20 feet. He turned around and he looked directly at me. I covered in blood. I flipped the switch and saw my daughter Claire. The creature ran downstairs and my husband. I rushed to tell my daughter she was very badly injured and spoke only one word, rest of her life. He is the Rake. And my husband drove into the car at the lake night. When I rushed down to the hospital, they did not survive. In a small town, news got around pretty quick. The police were helpful at first, and Luke lost interest for a while. However, the story was never published in local television, never ever followed up either. For several months, my son Justin and I just stayed in a hotel in my parents' house. As we decided to return home, I began to answer the question and eventually located a man next to town with a similar story. We contacted him, talked about our experiences. He knew of 2 people in New York who had the same creature as the Rake. I took the 4th of us in solid years hunting and